Hello, welcome to my channel Christian Faith and Fiction. My name's Lou and today I want to share with you the books that I've read recently. So I've got a mixture of books to share with you today. Some classics, some Christian fiction, some Christian non-fiction, kids books, various things. So let's see how I got on. Hey, it's the 27th of February and I finished a couple of books this week. I finished reading Alice in Wonderland. This is always a joy to reread by Lewis Carroll, and children's classic. I give this one 10 out of 10. Just really fun to read again. On the other hand, I finished the second book in C.S. Lewis' space trilogy, which is called Perelandra, and this book wasn't for me. I give it 2 stars on Goodreads, 4 out of 10. Yeah, I struggled with it. For the second half of it, I just skimmed through it just so I could get to the end. Yeah, just not my taste. I found the story just had too much description and not enough kind of action and plot, and large parts of it were filled with dialogue which was quite abstract, philosophical, repetitive, and yeah, I just found it quite boring in the middle. So this may be somebody else's taste, but it wasn't mine. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to continue with this series. The third book is like twice as long as the second book, so yeah, I don't know if I'm going to put myself through that one. I might just find a synopsis or a plot summary online and read that one instead. Hey, it's the 20th of March, and recently, because of everything been going on in Europe, I've been really craving some comfort reading, so I reread Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. This is one of her shorter books. I love the 2 characters in this book. They're so sweet, and yeah, I really love that one, so I give that one 10 out of 10. And I also finished reading The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahame. This is a really great classic children's story with talking animals and the riverbank and everything, and so I give that one 9 out of 10. And then I finished the buddy read book club read that we've been doing with some of us on BookTube, and that was The Enlightenment of Bees by Rachel Linden. This story follows Mia as she is, starts the story where she is expecting to be proposed to, but her boyfriend breaks up with her, and so she decides to go on this trip around the world. It's a humanitarian trip to find out what her purpose is and find some direction after her life is totally changed. This book is published by Thomas Nelson, who often publish Christian fiction books, so I assumed that this would be a Christian fiction story too. However, although a few sort of minor side characters do have some faith, the main character I don't think didn't show any signs of that. She didn't pray, she didn't read the Bible, she didn't talk about God at all, even in like the circumstances where you would expect someone to start praying. I enjoyed the story. I thought it was well written. I thought the characters were interesting, and the emotional journey that the main character went on was really interesting to see. I was disappointed in the lack of faith content and the spiritual journey, which could have been introduced into the story. There were lots of opportunities where they could have brought God into the story. In fact, it felt like it was set up for that, but then they just wouldn't go there. So I was kind of disappointed in that. I felt like it could have been a 5-star read if it had been a proper full Christian fiction, but as it was, I only gave it 3 stars. I maybe would have given it 4 stars if it was just a clean fiction, but there were a few kind of, for me, problematic aspects to the faith that were there. And this may be just because of where I live in the world, but I felt like there was some kind of New Age elements to her faith for instance, the word enlightenment is a big thing in Buddhism. There was a kind of suggestion of going to India to find yourself is what used to be kind of part of the old hippie trail type thing that people did. And also the thing with the bees did give me that kind of sense of, I've heard people talk about believing that they have an animal spirit guide, which obviously is not a Christian thing. So that's why I gave it 3 stars and not higher. It's the 3rd of April and I've finished 3 books this week. I finished The Mystery of the Disappearing Cat by Enid Blyton, which is a children's mystery book. I give that one 10 out of 10. Then I finished finally The Case for Heaven by Lee Strobel. This is a book where he goes around and interviews people about the afterlife. So he's interviewing people like scientists, philosophers, theologians, to get different points of view, some evidence for afterlife, the logic of different views, and the Bible evidence for things. So he covers some chapters on things like near-death experiences and the Bible's teaching on heaven and hell and reincarnation. There's a chapter on that, different views on whether we have a consciousness, all sorts of things like that. I would say the style is kind of halfway between a devotional book and an academic book, so it's written for everyone, but it was definitely a book that I needed to take my time over, mull over, think about, digest. I found it both encouraging in parts, challenging in parts, but it was definitely worth reading. I give this one 9 out of 10. God is stirring some stuff inside of me, especially when you get statistics like, I think he said 25% of Americans in one survey said that they believed in reincarnation. American Christians said that they believed in reincarnation, which just breaks my heart, that there are people who don't understand the Bible, who don't believe the Bible and call themselves Christians, and God is stirring something inside of me for Bible study and for teaching people the Word of God and bringing people back to the Word of God. So this was a good book to read. Definitely one to take your time over. And then I finished In Search of a Prince by Toni Shiloh. This is a contemporary romance. It follows Brielle, who finds out that she is that her mum has not told her the truth her whole life, and that she's actually the granddaughter of the king of an African kingdom on an island off the coast of Africa. And she goes over to meet her grandfather and decide what she wants to do with her life and her journey and her purpose in life. And there is romance and there is a little bit of suspense. I enjoyed this book. I thought it was a nice romance. I thought that it was really great setting. It was really great to read from a different culture. The thing I liked best about this book is the faith content is very high. The characters really have a genuine belief and think about faith and think about God and pray and know Bible verses. So it comes from a really strong point of view of faith. The romance was clean, although I would say it's more towards the adult side of clean. If you're interested in knowing that. If you want any more details on the content, you can give me in the comments. Let me know in the comments and I can give you more specifics. It might, but I don't want to give away any spoilers. There was just one word in it that in the UK would be considered, I think it's, when I looked it up, it was considered an offensive slang word. Now, I tried to look and see if it was the same in other countries. I couldn't find it, so just be aware of that if you're from the UK. Other than that, I like the characters, I like the faith, and I like the setting, and I will give this one 8 out of 10 or 4 stars on Goodreads. I believe there's a second book coming out later this year, which is following the friend of Brielle, so I'm excited to read that one too. So those are all the books that I've read recently. I had a mixture of really great reads and some mediocre ones. How have you been doing in the last month? Let me know down in the comments if you've read any great books or really bad books. Let's chat books in the comments. Thank you so much to everyone who has liked or subscribed or commented on my videos. I really do appreciate that. I hope you have a really great reading week, and until next time, God bless. Bye.